Page 32, Gypsy Violins. This is a lesson on quintuplets. When I first ran across this in music, I had not this piece, but the idea of 5 notes. I thought, what's going on? I had a struggle with it. You know, I would want to play 4 notes. We're used to playing 4 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I'm used to doing that. But now I got to add in another note. I struggled with it. My teacher said, well, think about your fingers on your hands. You got 5 fingers on a hand, and in one beat, you're going to use all 5 fingers. So it's a 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. 1, 2, 3. Just think of using all 5 fingers on those notes. That's getting 5 notes in there. They're all even. They're all there. You're just thinking 5 notes instead of 4. It's not that difficult to do. It's just the fact that we're not used to thinking that way. We're used to thinking in 2s and 3s and 4s, not 5s and 7s and this other stuff. It's like at the beginning. You have 5 notes. Here, look at this fingering 2, 1. I'm going to end on 1 because the next note are up here. You don't have to end on 1. Here, but it's 5 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It doesn't have to be those notes, but this is what we're using in this piece. 5 of them. And I'm just going to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Or in this case, it's beat 3. Here. Just think playing them all even. All even. Doesn't matter how fast you go. All even. And you can gradually speed it up. But when you're thinking of it, don't try and think of it as 4 or 3 and 2 or something like that. It's got to flow as 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There, son. Here, and this throughout. Now, in some music, it works out where you can play this like in a 3 and a 2. 3. 3 and a 2. 3, 2. Or a 2, 3. 1 and in some music. But I encourage you not to and think like this. Think of it as 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All stretched out even. All the way through. And that's really what this lesson is about. Otherwise, there's not a lot going on except these parallel thirds, like in the 3rd line. We'll get there. All right, let's go through the routine for learning a piece of music. Look it over. It's 2 pages long. Treble and bass clef. No sharps or flats in the key signature. This happens to be in the key of A minor. You see, when it could be in the major or minor, and then you have to look it over. Well, it ends here. That's an A minor chord. I'm guessing it's an A minor. Doesn't matter. While I'm doing the scales and arpeggios, I'm going to do it to the key signature. So I'm going to do C major and A minor both. Scales and arpeggios. 2 octaves up and down, I hope. 3/4 time signature. Okay. Let's go over the fingering and rhythm and all. So this is 3, 3, 1. So it's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Been through this? Okay. 3rd line down. You're here, and it's 1 and 2. They want them. That's okay. You can use that fingering. But you can also go, just stay there. 5, 4, 5, 4, like that. It's a sequence going down, so I just use the same fingering. Same thing. Top of page 33. Here. About half, now hold it down. Here, hold it down. And then you lift up those 2 little lines. I'll come back to you later. and then you just lift up and come down. What you were doing at the beginning. And then the third line down on page 33 is like page 32 on the... You figure out a fingering that works for you. The last line on page 35, it's here. If you can, use 2-5. And then the third measure has an AVA over it. Come up here. And that last measure has a 16, which is incorrect. It should be a 15, not 16. 2 measures up, or excuse me, 2 octaves up is an interval of a 15th, because 8 and 8 is 15. Everybody knows that, right? But it is. It's an interval of a 15th. So you're just going up another octave. From where it's written here. So we're going to go up 2 octaves from here, here, and here. It's here. If you have a short keyboard, you don't have the notes, use the highest C, E, A that you have and play that. But really that should be a 15, not a 16. If I count the interval, let's go down here. There's an A, and if I go up 2 octaves, and I count that interval, that is an interval of a 15th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, not 16. A lot of people think it's 16 because 8 and 8 is 16, but in music it doesn't. We don't use the 0. So it's a 15th. 1 octave is an 8th, but when you stack them on top of each other, they're sharing 1 note. So that takes a note away, so it's only a 15th, not a 16th. Left hand chords, that's an A. 3 ledger lines below, you should know that, just know that note. It's an A, and then a B, and a C. And here, I don't want to move my hand here. I don't want to move my hand that much. So I'm going to do the first 2 chords there. That's the last 2 chords of the line. I'm going to do it in this position. And then move. Nobody only moved 1 time. So that last measure, the first line was here, here, here. And how you finger that half note is up to you. Just finger it. You can use that fingering for the C sharp if you want. Depends on whether your hand's up here and then here. Same thing here. I'm going to finger this one and this one together. So it's on this finger. That way I'm only moving the hand once. Now if you want to be showy, you move the hand every time, because that's showy. I'm not interested in showy, I just want to play the music. So now I put the hands together. Get the idea. Now that's really about all it is. So once I have that worked out, then I go back through it very slowly and carefully, and I work out any hesitations. No hesitations, because your hands are moving around so much. You're looking at the music, you're looking down, and you have to work all that out. You got to synchronize it. When do you look at the music? When do you look down? That's all part of the practicing and learning the piece. Ideally, you just memorize it, but this practice of when to look at the music and when to look at the keyboard is good practice. Then I add the articulation. You have accents, play them a little out, just a little more weight on them. Let the wrist collapse a little bit. On the third line down, you get the 2-note slurs. Down, up, down, up, down, up, and then an accent. And the natural accent's the first accent. Accent. And then the 2-note slurs goes away in the last 2 measures. Connect all that together and you get an accent on the last note. The accent is just a little louder from where you're at, because I have a diminuendo there. I'm getting softer at the last measure there on page 32. But the accent's still a little louder. And then these 2 little lines at the top of page 33 in the first measure. It's called a susura. or a caesura, however you want to pronounce it. I don't care, whatever. Also known as railroad tracks. It is a pause. This is where the beat stops, in theory. Total silence for just a moment. People wondering what's going on, what am I supposed to do? And then you just start again. So it's here. And don't hold that second beat out, it's just one beat. And then go on. Yeah, that's all that is. In reality, when you pause like that, it will be a certain number of beats. You won't know how many beats it is because you're not counting beats, you're just pausing. But you have an internal clock, an internal beater that continues to beat even when you're not consciously thinking about it. And the audience does too. So what feels right, it will actually be a certain number of beats. You won't know how many beats it is because you're not counting them. But what feels right will be a certain, and it'll feel right to the audience too because it's like that beating is still going on. Now, speed-wise, Andante it's not slow. It's kind of a leisure pace. Just don't rush these. No, let them flow. Now, dynamic-wise, it's for the right hand here. No. Now, for the dynamics, now this is for the right hand. The left hand is just background. Keep it out of the way. You moderately loud, crescendo up to loud with an accent. Actually makes up very loud. Flow, go to here. Come back down to moderately loud. Again, moderately loud. Each one is the same. You moderately loud, go up. Moderately loud, go up. Second line, same thing. I don't know why they give you another MF because you're going to do all of these the same. And then third line, you're loud. Makes the accented note a very loud note. And then at the end, come back down to about a moderately loud. And now you're soft. Moderately soft, you're going to go up to about a moderately loud. The accented note will be a loud then. Now you're moderately loud in second line. So forth and louder, you get it. The last line, you have a long hairpin to gradually get softer. You're loud at the beginning of the line. Last line on page 33. A little softer, now very soft. And that roll, I didn't talk about the roll chord, did I? At the end, bottom of page 33, you have the roll chord on both hands. I do both of these at the same time. So it's not rhythmic, it's just roll it. I do the bottom note on the beat, so it's here. It's very soft. When you're up here, it's going to be very soft anyway. This is what you got to watch out for. Speed, Andante is just a leisure stroll. Just however fast. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. This just 1, 2, 1, 2. Idea. It's all pretty much the same speed. You get a retardando at the top of page 33, slow down a little bit. Then pause. Odd tempo means go back to what you were doing before you slowed down here. Same speed at the top. What you were doing. Okay. At the end, the bottom, you get another retardando here. And you can slow the roll chord down too, if you want. because it's felt. It's how do you feel a roll chord should be? I'm not going to slow down and die away and then suddenly that's out of character. So slow it down. So how slow? Again, you feel it. I don't know how slow. What do you think? Now they've got a pedal, and we could use some pedal here because it's kind of choppy with the left hand. Yeah, it'd be nice to have the overtones for the longer held notes. One of the reasons we pedal is to color, give overtones to longer notes. And that's what don't pedal the quintuplet thing. Push it down first and then the pedal. Lift it up. See? And you can tone it down a little bit if you want. Don't get carried away on this. Now in the third line here, I would prefer to adjust this pedal a little bit because they're just pedaling it all together. And I don't like that at all. It's too mushy, it's too much. So I still want to hear the two-note slur. So I'm going to pedal it with the right hand two-note slurs in the third line. Two measures on page 32, it's not two-note slurs anymore, so now you can pedal like the Schaum. Pedal at the top of page 33, everything comes up for a moment of silence, and then you continue. And I tend to, on these, like in the page 33, second line, first measure here, I tend to change the pedal for the half note. I don't want it too much here. And I can do that throughout all this other stuff if I want to. On page 32, at the end of the first line, you're here. I tend to change the pedal there for the half note to kind of clear it out a little bit. I don't want to build up too much and then go on. On page 33, third line, I'm going to pedal that so I can hear the two-note slurs. Here they're telling you to. But I'm going to continue that even in the third measure. Now the two-note slurs go away here. And you pretty much have to leave the pedal. Don't change the pedal for the last measure because you don't want to lose all of this other sound that you have total. Just make sure it's really, really, really soft. A lot of times when I die away at the end of a piece, like on that, I change the pedal on to get rid of all the other sound. In this case, it just kind of sounds good to leave that other sound there. Leave it, the whole thing there, and enjoy it all. Oh, it's interpretation. How do you feel it?